What you're looking at right now has been hidden for 154 years. I'm Dom Robinson, and today you're joining me on what might be the most fascinating wreck discovery of my diving career. December the 3rd, 1869, the steamship SS Greek left the Clyde with 23 crew, bound for Rotterdam carrying firebricks and general cargo. She vanished, never to arrive. For over a century, the SS Greek was just another mystery swallowed by the sea, until September 2024, when three of us from the Darkstar team dropped onto an unknown mark, almost 100 metres down, midway between Cornwall and Ireland. What we found down there was absolutely incredible, and you're about to see the complete dive footage from the day we identified the SS Greek. Every moment of discovery, every artefact that confirmed her story, and I'm also going to share the research journey that over 12 months later finally brought her name back into the light. It should have been really easy to identify. We had the Crockery with the really clear markings from the Anglo-Greek steam navigation company. We also knew roughly what era it was, we knew what size it was, we had the cargo, but at this point, unfortunately, the records let us down. The Anglo-Greek company only existed for a small period of time, and the records on it were really, really sketchy. Just when I was giving up hope of ever identifying the wreck, I put out some of the information on my various social media channels, and I'm really pleased that loads and loads of people stepped in and offered thoughts and suggestions, and some of those were what cracked the case. So for everybody who contributed, I just want to say thank you very much for all your efforts, and identifying this wreck is as much the results of your work as it is of mine and the other people who dived it. So thank you very much, and award yourself a big pat on the back for all your help. Now, you've probably seen that I've shortened the descent sequence of this video a bit, but you join me here with Will. We're just setting up the lazy shot there. Will likes to get it down as absolutely deep as he can, and you see we've got our tags already installed on there. That blue rope, that's the Prosec. We're just going to check that we're all good. Yeah, we're both good, so we're going to head on down in a moment. The third member of the dive team is following us in after this. Now, this bit of the dive is actually really, really exciting. So we know for certain nobody has ever dived here. It is just so far out that you just cannot get the boats and stuff. The only reason we're doing it is because we are taking the boat Darkstar from Cornwall to Ireland. So we are going across the Celtic Sea. So that's given us the opportunity to dive this. Really, really fantastic. But we have literally no idea what is going to be down there. So it's really, really exciting. The other thing that I'm really excited about is you may see I've got a new overlay on this video. So bottom left hand side you will see my AP Inspiration handset. So you're getting the actual PO2s in my sensors as I'm descending down here. One of the interesting things is you can see I've my set point is 1.3, but they're up around nearly 1.5, and that's obviously because I'm going down so rapidly, much quicker, and we're going to be into oxygen spike territory. You can also see that not even got to the bottom, already nearly in decompression. You know, that's just what happens when you do these kind of dives. So big shout out to Eric Stott, who's produced this overlay, continues to develop it. If you're interested in doing it yourself, there's a link in the description and up above me there. Right, so returning to dive, you can see just getting really close to the bottom here. It's 96 metres, and I'm about to have one of those moments that is kind of like really, really disappointing. So you can see there, the shot is lying on the seabed, and there's no wreck to be seen. Now, unlike the other video I've shared where this happened, I do at least bother to put my strobes on this time, and the reason is obviously we're going to be going and doing a search. But initial thoughts, no wreck. I mean, this can happen for loads of reasons. It could be that the skipper's missed the wreck. It could be the shot has been pulled off the wreck. Whatever it is, it's not good news, and you can see me looking around there. So for those of you who've seen other videos where this happened, you'll know that I'm looking for fish or signs of anything on the bottom, and frankly there's none of that. The only thing I've been able to see is I had a quick look around there. You see I saw my buddy and I saw the strobes, But leaping forward a bit, in fact 2 minutes, which is a long time at this depth, you can see there I've just started to see something on the seabed, which is really good news. Bodes well, and then there's more stuff. So, you know, I think we found the wreck, which is absolutely fantastic. And you know, when you spend 2 minutes looking around and then you see this a big wall of steel or iron in front of you, that is really, really good news. And you can hear me there calling Will, my buddy, and over the top, and then brilliant. You know, this is instantly, you know, this is going to be a good dive, because this is, you know, there's so much here. You can see the cross beams, you can see all sorts of stuff. I mean, look in there, you can see that big stone jar in there, so clearly some sort of galley or stores area or something like that. So the next challenge is, of course, to figure out exactly where we are on the wreck. And you can see me, you can see my buddy there, Will. He's joined up as well, and we're both thinking the same thing, which is where's the bell? So we're looking there, and you can see, I mean, that's really interesting. That's a load of bricks. And we come back to how we identified the wreck. You'll have seen one of the things in that newspaper article was bricks. Might have just seen here, okay, so this is the engine. You've probably just seen on the left hand side there's a 2-cylinder engine on its side. That big thing there on the left, that is actually the boiler. Doesn't look much like one, but it's a really old one. It's not round, it's kind of I'm not even sure what sort of shape it is, kind of like half dome shape. I don't know, but we'll come back to that later on, because clearly once you've seen the engine, you've seen the boiler, you know, the front of the ship is further forward. So this area here probably, you know, gone past the bridge, but there's just a whole load of bricks. Oh, Will's found something. Better go and have a look and see what it is. This kind of area could be some sort of bridge gear or something like that. Actually, it isn't, and I have no idea at all what this is. See, I've just switched to the camera on the front of my scooter there, and there you go. If anybody has any idea what that thing is, I would love to know. What it isn't, though, is the bell or something that's going to allow us to identify the wreck. So here we go, carrying on moving forward. Still, this is the scooter view, and you can just see there's a huge pile of bricks. Must have been the cargo. You've already seen from the newspaper article I showed you that the SS, the Greek, was carrying a load of bricks, and this was really the final thing that allowed us to confirm this identity as being the Greek. So we were able to find information out from a website called T's Built Ships, which listed the 4 ships built for the Anglo-Greek company. So it was simply a case of going through those all and trying to find out what happened to them. There was 2 of them that it wasn't particularly certain, so almost certainly it was one of those 2. In fact, there you go. There's a beautiful anchor there, old pattern anchor. So you know, everything about this ship screams old steamship, and that anchor is definitely a bit of it. So it was simply a case of we had those 2 ships that we weren't certain what happened to them. One of them was shown as being lost. In fact, they're both shown as being lost. What we weren't sure of is where they were lost or any details about what they were carrying. Well, we know where this wreck is. We know it's in the middle of the Celtic Sea, and the Greek, as it turns out, was travelling from the Clyde on the west coast of Scotland to Rotterdam in the Netherlands, so that route would have taken it down over this exact area. And we had the confirmation from the newspaper article that was found by one of the people who was looking at my YouTube and my Facebook posts. So once you put all those things together, we can't say for 100% certainty that this is the Greek, but all of those things align. You can say, I think, with a very, very strong probability that it was. In fact, okay, there we are back at the anchor, and you can see that is absolutely a beast. You can also see there's these big pile of bricks. Now, we've dived other wrecks before that are carrying very heavy cargoes, things like bricks and iron, and what you tend to find is that if it goes down a tall bow first, then all the cargo just goes forward and smashes the bow area. So my gut feel is that the bell for the Greek is somewhere underneath all of these bricks. and therefore unlikely ever to be found. So it's unfortunate that there's probably nothing that's going to confirm for absolute certainty that this is the Greek. So we're just going to have to go with what we found in terms of those three things. So the crockery that says Anglo-Greek Steam Navigation Company, and the size of this, which is about the same sort of size as the Greek, and also the fact that it's an old steamship, and the fact that it's got a whole cargo of bricks, and the fact that it's in the right area where it would have been. So that's how we identified the Greek, and I hope my logic is sound. I hope you can all follow it. If you can't, then please, or you want to challenge it, you think that's a load of rubbish, then please feel free to leave something in the comment. Now I'm about to come up to the boiler here. You can see it in front of me. You can also see it's resting on its right hand side, and you can see it has that dome shape that I was talking about. So it's a really old boiler, and I don't think I've seen one that shape before, so that is really interesting as well. So if we consider when this was built, the ship was built early 1860s, and I think this is right at the beginning of the introduction of steamships into kind of widespread use. So I guess it's entirely reasonable that they hadn't kind of got to the designs that would become standard much later on. So these are almost experimental. Now in front of us there, that is the remains of the engine. It's actually toppled over. It's toppled away from us. The two cylinders are just there on the left hand side, and then there's a whole load of other kind of pipes and all sorts of bits and pieces in and around here. You can see what I'm doing is I'm absolutely taking my time, having a good look around, and clearly I'm hoping that something in there is going to give us a clue, is going to reveal something, is going to tell us what this is. Unfortunately, not really getting anything other than you can see a whole load of bricks, to me, seem to have come forward again, and once again these bricks seem to have smashed into the engine area. So no doubt a whole load of bits and pieces to do with the engine, maybe the maker's plate or whatever are buried under those bricks, which quite disappointing. But hey, it was the bricks that gave us the final clue. Now I'm just going up on the starboard side here, which is the very close to where I actually came onto the wreck. I didn't come onto the wreck on the starboard side, I came over on the port side, but I did travel down this bit at the beginning. You may remember there was that big stone jar, and if you have a look here you can see that I've spotted all sorts of other things. And of course what I'm going to do is get them out and see if any of these can give us any clues, because of course this is what we're trying to do. We've got no idea what this shipwreck is. We want to identify it, and crockery, like this plate that's just coming out there, I'm kind of hoping that that's going to have something on it, and immediately I do. I can see it's got a big crest in the middle of it, so that is absolutely fantastic. Now I'm going to pull other things out as well, and the viz is going to kick up here. So what I'm going to do is every now and again I'm going to cut the film and kind of move on a bit. So this is a good example there. You can see that's something that's come out. I've just cut, and there you go. You can see they're both up on there. There's more stuff in and around, and once again it's going to be coming out. So there's a whole load of stuff in this area. It wasn't just me who found plates and stuff with the logos on it. Both the other divers found stuff as well, and it all had the same markings. So the Anglo-Greek thing. So it's a really good indication it wasn't just a kind of random plate on a random ship. This ship was carrying Anglo-Greek crockery, or was equipped with the Anglo-Greek crockery, and given the fact that this company only existed for a short period of time, it's, I think, inconceivable that they would have been on another vessel. There you go. There's another diver over there. That looks like Will. He's clearly found something, and he's kind of digging it out. So just going over and to have a quick look at what he's got. And in fact, there you go. You can see there's another bit of crockery there. So there's absolutely tons of this stuff down here. We didn't bring it all up. We just brought a few bits and pieces so that we could confirm, and we had more than one item, so that gives you a bit of confidence. There's that stone jar that I showed you right at the beginning. If anybody wants a stone jar, there's still one down there. They're really common to kind of see on shipwrecks. But before that, I just want to check and make sure there's nothing interesting written on it, because these things sometimes have manufacturers' names or contents or anything like that. So I've just pulled it out of the mud there, and you can see I'm having a quick look at it, and there's nothing of any interest on there. So there you go. I'm kind of abandoning it and leaving it. But I guess in these days they had no means of keeping anything cool, so they must have kept everything pickled. Also, they would have had no it's been very difficult, I guess, to store water and beer or spirits or whatever you want. So they must have had loads and loads of these on board any ship. There you go. There's some more crockery there. That looks like a sink. We've seen that before. Once again, really clear evidence that this has never been dived before, I think. But also, shows the signs of the people who lived here. There's a bottle of wine or something like that, of people who lived and worked on this ship. So, really interesting to see that kind of stuff. What there isn't, though, which is quite unusual, is any sign of anything brass. So I've not seen a porthole or anything like that. I think at this point I decide that the time is right to go and head to the stern and see what we can find back there, because once again, sterns are interesting. You can find out information from looking at features such as the screw. How many blades has it got on it? I mean, how many screws are there? There's also sometimes other interesting things, and you can see there that I've kind of spotted something there. That thing that's sticking up, it's kind of an odd shape. I've no idea what that is. I've just turned it over. The top of it looks brass, but hey, I've no idea what that is. So it's still down there if anybody's got any clues. But there you go. You can see there's the screw. It's 3-bladed, quite old to my to my mind. No sign of the rudder or anything like that. Presumably it's somewhere down there on the seabed. Maybe it's just kind of fallen into the mud. Maybe it's just completely rusted away. But there's got to be one down here somewhere, and this is what I'm just kind of having a look for, see if anything else has fallen on the seabed. Once again, it is really surprising, I guess, that there's no brass things. Once again, you often get portholes and stuff in the stern, but I've not seen any sign of anything like that. Oh, just come back up on the boat. That's Lee Bishop, famous shipwreck explorer. He's probably dived more Virgin shipwrecks, probably identified more shipwrecks than anybody alive today. But so it's actually, he's a bit of a hero of mine. It's an absolute privilege to get to dive with him. And there's another kind of hero of mine, somebody being very persistent. That is Will, trying to get out whatever he's got in there, and actually what he gets out turns to be absolutely lovely. It's a meat tray, once again with that beautiful Anglo-Californian logo on it. So his persistence does pay off. And there you go, you can see it in its glory going into his bag for him to carry up to the surface. So that's a really nice find. Not really sure what he's done with it, but no doubt his girlfriend is super happy to have that in the house. Certainly my wife always loves these kind of objects. Right, so you can see here I know I'm coming to the end of my dive. You can see there my TTS, I've got 106 minutes. You see my first decompression stop is about 40 odd meters. There's a whole load of stuff in the water where everyone's obviously been digging out plates and stuff, and you can see you probably just saw the strobes there as well. So this is me heading back towards the shot line, which is off that port side of the wreck. There's a couple of strobes there. There's one, a fairly decent one, and mine down at the bottom here. And you can see this strobe is not performing well. In fact, neither of them are performing well, because I do have two of them on there. So I think one of them had a problem with the battery, and the other one was just on its way out. These strobes don't last forever. The Himax one I had there, I think I'd been using for many years, and every now and again I just needed to clean the contacts in it. I think I was at cleaning the contacts point. Luckily, there you go, you can see the other diver. That's Will above me there with his bag with his meat tray in it, and he's luckily his strobe was working well. So we're both heading up now. Our dive is done, although at this point in time we think we've solved the mystery, because we've got that crockery. We don't know when we get to the surface that it's not going to be quite as easy as we think. For those who like my Deco profile, I like to see it. This is obviously the Shearwater Cloud download. You can see there 96 meters-ish, so not a radically different dive from many of the other ones I do there. You can see sort of 140 minutes TTS when I leave the bottom. I come up somewhere up around here, I switch from 1.3 to 1.5 PO2. So this is all really standard stuff for anyone who's seen any of my other dives. And there you go, finish up just under 2.5 hours. A little bit of extra deco for the wife and kids, and I get out. But before that happens, have a particularly special moment. You can see here I was reading my Kindle on Deco, and then all of a sudden you get that happen. You get dolphins coming past you. So you're in the middle of the sea, middle of the open ocean. These are completely and utterly wild animals, and they just decide to come and say hello, engage with you absolutely on their terms. But it is it's a stunning moment, and yeah, really special. So this was a great dive. You can see conditions were great at the bottom. Although it was 12 months later, we still ended up identifying the wreck, and we then had those dolphins come and just up to see us really closely, and that just made it even more special. So what a day. Diving something nobody's ever dived before, middle of nowhere, stunning visibility, dolphins on decompression stops, and came up with some really interesting artifacts. And the brilliant bit is that 12 months later, with the help of you guys who've commented and gone digging and all that sort of stuff, we have identified what happened to SS the Greek. Ship missing since 1817, missing no longer. So thanks a lot, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, please give us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. And the main thing I hope you'll do is watch another one of my videos. So thank you.